Okay, welcome to Sister Sharpens Sister. My name is Karen. We are three sisters that get together and talk about first one thing and then another. And the other two beautiful ladies that you see on the screen, in the red, you will see
Dee Dee. I'm Dee
Dee
Dee.
Dee.
Dee,
Yeah, I
I'm
was getting
red.
ready to say, what's your name?
Oh,
Pink.
she's all like, I should have
Yeah.
thought of that. Tomorrow's Memorial Day.
hmm
Yeah, I should have too, because I've got a shirt in there that says We the People. It's got a flag on it. I started to put that on and I'm like,
hmm
I'll save it for tomorrow. So,
Mm.
but I'll tell you what I do have on. 322nd Training Squadron for the Air Force.
That works.
There you go.
So,
That
and
works.
in the dusty pink, you will see
Shalom,
Shalon. And her shirt says blessed something.
Mama.
Blessed Mama. And she
Mama.
is. She's got two wonderful children. And we today are discussing things that you can do with your children or your spouse or by yourself. And
Mhm.
Shalon's going to start us off with some fun, maybe free or not entirely free, but definitely cheaper than a Disney trip.
Well, when we talked about budget-friendly things to do, and you said that I should tackle like national parks and things, when I looked this up, there are certain, we have so many national parks, 63 or 64. I don't remember the exact number in the United States.
The newest one in the
And
state, the newest one in the state of West Virginia is the New River Gorge.
hmm
yeah, I was going to mention that, Turkey.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm stealing your thunder. Here, you can have it back.
No, it's okay. But that's true. West Virginia has the newest state park. It was inaugurated in 2020, and it is the New River Gorge National Park and Preserve.
And it's a beautiful
And
place.
it is, but we're biased. I came across a blog of a gentleman who ranked all of the national parks, and it was
Ah,
kind of low on the list only because there isn't like a ton of stuff to do. You basically just hike and see the bridge,
right,
which
yeah.
I like. But
hmm
um, but every park there are obviously things you can do for free. Hiking is usually something that you can just haul off and do. But I did come across another blog, and it's called Barefoot Theory, Bearfoot. And this is just a general search of, how to visit national parks on a budget. And the first thing that she suggested to do was to get a America the Beautiful park pass.
Oh, that's a good idea.
hmm
Yeah, and it's $80, and it is good for 1 year from the date of purchase.
How many
Okay.
people? How many people can enter the park on that?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of parks will do by the carload.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you can get around it that way. You can be
like going to the
mindful.
drive-in theater.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, dad can get or mom can get the park pass, and then the whole car gets in with her.
Okay.
And also, you can do the same, like plan a trip with grandma and grandpa, because if you're over 62 years of age, which is what they consider a senior, you can buy a pass for the rest of your life for $80.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And you can get in that way. Also, which is something I wish I knew about at the time, but if you have a fourth grader,
Okay.
yeah, if you have a fourth grader, your fourth grader can get your whole family into the national parks the whole year that they're in fourth grade for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's something
Okay.
that they did based on the Every Kid Outdoors, what would you call this? I guess a movement to
Okay.
try and get kids outside more.
hmm
And so, yeah, if you have a kid that is in the fourth grade, the whole year that they're in the fourth grade, their teachers can give them the information on the pass. or you can go online and do it. I have links to all this, and you can get in for free, your whole family. Also,
That's awesome.
uh, others that get in for free are active military. They can get an annual pass. Veterans.
Mhm.
So our veterans that we know and love in our family can go get a pass for free. They do have to pay for the shipping to send the pass to them, which I read was $10, but big deal. But
Hey,
it's lifetime
right?
for veterans. And it's also lifetime for anyone who has their family's a Gold Star family. And a Gold Star family is if someone was serving in the military and died during their military service.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they can get in for free for a lifetime. There are national free days that our parks have. But these days are going to be very, very busy. So if you're not in the crowds, you might want to avoid these days.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to save money, they are. I'm going to mention all of them, although some of them have already come to pass. But January 9th, January 20th, April 19th, June 19th, August 4th, September 27th, and November 11th are all 3 days to get into the national parks.
Okay. What is January the 9th and January the 20th?
January the 9th is National Day of Mourning of President James Earl Carter Jr.
Oh,
And January 20th is Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
oh yeah. Okay. And then
All
what
right.
was April?
April 19th, which is actually the first day of National Park Week.
Okay. I know what June 19th is.
June 19th, Juneteenth, National Independence Day. August 4th is the anniversary of the Great American Outdoors Act, which is part of getting the kids outdoors.
Okay.
You need a Karen's birthday on the June 19th one.
Yeah, it is. And September 27th is National Public Lands Day, and November 11th is Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised July the 4th is not on there.
I'm not.
Well, that would
I mean,
probably be
that's the day to rake in the money, though.
Well, yeah,
well,
that's what yeah. So
yeah.
if the park does charge, then I'm sure if they're doing a fireworks spectacle or something, they're gonna rake in some money.
Yeah.
Okay, the most visited national park. Do you know what it is?
Um,
I don't know.
it,
Yosemite.
Yosemite or the Grand Canyon.
hmm
Uh-oh.
What is it?
Great Smoky Mountain National Park.
I didn't
That's
even think
I
about
remember
that.
that now. Yes,
Yeah,
I remember that. I've read that before and I completely forgot it. But
yeah.
yeah.
So Great
hmm
Smoky Mountain National Park spans North Carolina and Tennessee. It is beautiful.
It is.
All right, and
That's where the Blue Ridge Parkway is, right? It runs down that way.
I don't know if it runs through there or not. Hold on, let me check.
yeah, I'm not sure. I know, but Blue Ridge Parkway goes through a lot.
Yes, it does.
I've been on portions of that. And that is also something that is free to do. That
Right.
you
Just
can
drive
go
and
do with your
look.
family. Another suggestion that the Barefoot Theory blog suggested was to camp instead of hotel,
Mm-hmm.
hmm
or rent a caravan, rent an RV, uh, cook your own food
Absolutely. There's,
instead
Yeah,
of going out to eat when you're in the parks.
yeah.
yeah.
And the Blue Ridge Parkway is partly in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. Part
Yeah,
of
I
it is.
thought it was.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The state with the most national parks.
Oh, I have no idea.
No clue.
No clue. Yeah.
California. Has
Oh, wow.
nine.
California.
Okay.
9.
How many? 9?
Alaska, 9.
9. Wow, that is a lot.
It is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Alaska has 8, Utah has 5, and Colorado has 4. All right, so again, so many national parks to choose from. I didn't want to just focus on one or two and list all the things that are around them because I wanted to be more general
Mm-hmm.
since, you could be listening to this in Alaska or wherever,
Yeah.
wherever you are.
Right? Michigan.
Yeah. So I did a general search of the top 10 parks on the East Coast and the top 10 parks on the West Coast.
Okay.
I will tell you that if you're on the East Coast, you're going to pay less money because only one park on the West Coast was free.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So East Coast, the top 10 national parks, just typed into Google. Number 1 was the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. And it is free to get into. Acadia National Park, which is located in Maine. It's renowned for its granite cliffs and rugged coastlines, but it is $35 per private vehicle. Unless, of course, you've paid for the National Park Pass. The Shenandoah National Park, which is in Virginia, it is $30 per vehicle or $15 per person. Everglades National Park in Florida. I've never been there. Lived in Florida for over 35 years and never been there.
Probably drove through it going down to Key West.
Never been to Key West either.
Beautiful.
Speaking of Key West, Biscayne National Park is ranked one of the top 10 on the East Coast.
Ah.
It is free to get into. Also in Florida, which is a national park that you can only get to by boat or by seaplane, and that is the Dry Tortuga National Park.
Wow.
Yeah, you get to see the historic forts, and there's lots of chances for snorkeling. But of course, there's fees for all that kind of stuff, unless you are a snorkeler, know how to do it yourself type thing.
Right, yeah.
All right, New River Gorge National Park, West Virginia. Now, I will tell you that being local here, there's a ton of things to do.
Mm-hmm.
There is a catwalk that goes out under the bridge,
I
which
think your youngest is doing that.
my youngest is getting ready to do that. Part of her 5th grade graduation trip. They had to earn so many points, have so much attendance, all these reading things. It was a whole thing. She had to check off all these things, and she got every single one of them. So she is getting to do that.
And pray for her because she's a little nervous.
Yeah, I know. I know. She doesn't like heights. And
Yeah,
I'm like, girl, you're
I
crazy.
understand that.
I would tell her, just look up the whole time. Oh gosh, there's whitewater rafting. There's zip lines, all kinds of stuff. I didn't look up the prices. Like I said, I wanted to be pretty general. All right, next national park is Valley Forge National Park, and that's in Pennsylvania. It is free to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Concargi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Concargi?
Spell it.
Congaree. Congaree.
Sure.
It is a national park located in South Carolina. It is free to get into. And Antietam National Battlefield in Maryland, that costs $20 per private vehicle.
Civil War history on the East Coast, man. If you are into the Civil War, Revolutionary War, there's all kinds of stuff that you could do over here in the national parks and the historic towns and stuff that are just scattered everywhere.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tim and I have went to it was a battlefield and graveyard here in West Virginia. I don't remember the name of it, but it wasn't too far away because we drove to the caverns and we also did that same day. All right, top 10 West Coast national parks. Yosemite, located in California. That is a park that I would like to visit.
Same.
And I wanted to visit that park ever since I saw the Star Trek movie where Captain Kirk is climbing up the mountain. It is $35 per private vehicle to get into Yosemite National Park. Olympic National Park in Washington, $30 per vehicle or $15 per person. Sequoia National Park in California.
I'd like to go
Home
to
of
that
the
one too.
world's, yeah, largest trees. $35 per vehicle. Crater Lake National Park in Oregon.
Ooh.
And they are $30 per vehicle admission there. Death Valley National Park,
Mm.
which goes through two states, it's California and Nevada. That is $30 per vehicle. Let's see, the next one, Joshua Tree National Park in California, also $30 per vehicle. Redwood National and State Parks in California, those are free to get into.
Mm. Okay.
Mount Rainier National Park in Washington.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I've seen Mount Rainier from a distance. I saw it when I was in Vancouver, British Columbia,
Oh,
getting
you
ready
saw it.
to go on a cruise to Alaska.
You saw it from Vancouver.
Yep,
That's a big mountain.
it's well, it's the tallest mountain in the U.S., right?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Is it? Let me look it up. We
Yeah,
should know this
Google
stuff.
it, maybe.
I'm sure
I
I
know.
learned this at some point, but I can't remember everything.
Well, no, I mean, there's only so much room in your head, right?
That's right.
I know the
It
highest
is.
point in West Virginia, but not in the United States. I would think it would be a mountain in
It's Mount
Alaska
McKinley.
somewhere.
It's Mount McKinley in Alaska.
Yeah, okay.
But
So what
then the
about the
continental,
continental? Yeah.
let me
Yeah,
try that.
yeah. Continental U.S. is Mount Rainier, correct?
Probably. Let me look. Mount Whitney in California.
Oh,
That's what it says. I mean, I'm just reading what it says.
no, that's fine.
Um,
Well, either way, it's a big freaking tall mountain because I saw
right.
it in Canada.
Yeah, that's amazing actually.
Yeah, well, it was a clear day, so I have a picture of it
Well,
somewhere.
Mount Rainier is 14,411 feet. Mount Whitney is 14,491 feet. So it's
Oh,
close.
okay.
It's real
Okay,
close.
very close.
Yes.
All right, so after Mount Rainier National Park, we have Zion National Park in Utah, $35 per private vehicle. And then it's Arches National Park and Bryce Canyon National Park, which are both in Utah. And that is also $30 per private vehicle. I think visiting your national parks and learning about your country is a great way to spend your summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Connect with nature. It's important.
It is
Yes,
important.
yes. And literally go barefoot on a trail sometime.
Yeah. Oh, and if you go hiking, take bear spray and wear appropriate footwear and watch out for snakes and poison ivy and poison oak and poison sumac.
Yeah, you need to watch out for like ticks and stuff like that too. But the
Yeah.
park officials will give you all of the information you need.
Well, just as a side note, right? The tallest point in West Virginia is called Spruce Mountain, and I looked up the height of it. Comparatively, Dee Dee was reading off like 14,000 feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
The highest point in West Virginia and the entire Allegheny Range of the Appalachian Mountains, which spans 4 states, by the way, is 4,863 feet.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah, that's a.
that's short comparatively, but
Mm-hmm.
the Appalachian Mountains are the oldest mountains.
Yeah, they're considerably older.
Yeah, some of the oldest mountains in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But piggybacking on what Shalon was talking about being outside, one of the things that, and I've done this, we have a cousin that does this too, is
Mm-hmm.
geocaching. Shalon said, "What is that?" when I mentioned it to her. Dee Dee, do you know what it is?
Sort of, kind of, sort of. I don't know all the details of it, but it's kind of like a scavenger hunt.
It's like a treasure hunt. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? It is a real world treasure hunt. You use an app and a GPS enabled device. You can buy a GPS device or you can just use your phone if you want to do that to find hidden containers of all kinds. The most popular hidden container is like the old 35 millimeter film canisters. And sometimes you can find big metal boxes when you go searching for this stuff. The things that you need the GPS enabled device. You also have to have some type of internet access, a sense of adventure, and a small trinket or a toy of some kind. And I'll explain what that's for. It's also sometimes advisable to carry a pen and pencil and a small strip of paper. And that goes along with the toy and the entire like you're signing your name whenever you find this treasure. Um, if you go to a site called geocaching.com, you can register for free. They do have a paid thing that you can do, but you register for free. You type in a city or a zip code and type search, and it will pull up all kinds of little geocaches that people have put out in different areas. There is one, Shalon, you know the field at our church, my church,
Hmm.
right? In the woods, just that way.
Really?
Yeah. There is an app of the same name, geocaching, right, .com that you can download. Or if you have an Android device, you can use an app called C and then the colon symbol, um, Geo. And then once you find that cache, you have to look for it now. You follow the little latitude and longitude, the coordinates, you get there, and then you have to look for it. Some people hide these things and make it a puzzle that you have to open in order to get to the treasure. Now that's like the really involved ones. Most of the ones that I've seen, you just you just find it. And the one that we found was a little Rubbermaid container. It was about it was about this size, and you open it up, and on the inside of it there should be a strip of paper, and you put the date and your initials and then whatever trinket that you're going to leave behind. So you leave a trinket and you get to take a trinket. So if you're taking kids with you and you've got 3 kids and they each want a trinket from the geocache that they find, they each need to have a trinket that they can put in. And that can be anything from like the 25-cent gumball machines. You could put an eraser in there. You can leave a quarter, things like that. So, but it gets you active, it gets you walking, it gets you outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. I love doing stuff like that. Trying to talk my husband into it, though, is a different story. He does not like being in the woods.
Really? Oh my goodness, I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, no, he's if there's a clearing and he can sit by the riverbank or a lake or something like that, that's fine. But to go foraging for a treasure, that's not him. If he were to ever have gone with us when we went blackberry picking, Dee Dee, do you remember doing that?
Yeah.
No, he would not enjoy it.
Oh my goodness. I remember as a little girl, my favorite times, and our uncle would take me out in the woods and we'd be gone all day,
Yep.
all day. And
Yeah. Just doing
it
stuff.
just, yeah, just walking around looking, seeing what you could find, drinking out of the rivers and the creeks that you see. And it was amazing.
So good. So good. The next thing that I have, and I've got a website that has 114 free or almost free things that you can do, and it's called thepennyhoarder.com. This is where most of these ideas came from. But the next thing that I have on the list is that you can tie dye something: t-shirt, sheets, pillowcases, um, those little canvas bags. As long as it's cotton, you can tie dye it. And Walmart has a kit. I looked it up, like 3 or 4 days ago. It's only like $10 or $12, depending on where you get it. But you don't even have to do that, because the only things that you need is that you need a fabric dye of some kind if you're going to use a white t-shirt, like a RIT fabric dye or a Walmart fabric dye, a squeeze bottle of some kind, like think ketchup, right? That kind of a squeeze bottle, rubber bands, some plastic wrap, like I suppose you could use a Walmart bag. You use saran wrap, something like that. A baking rack or something, some kind of a rack to keep it elevated so that the dye can go all the way through and not completely saturate one side of the shirt. And then if you're bougie, you can cross stitch or embroider something onto it, or sew patches. You can sew patches onto it, but that's all you need. And then I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but there is this one guy on social media. I do not know who he is. I just see his stuff. He takes black and uses bleach
I've seen that.
and
Mhm.
puts some amazing designs on like hoodies and t-shirts. But you can also tie dye with bleach. It's a 1-to-1. If you want to use black
Mhm.
or gray or red, even whatever t-shirt you decide, it's 1-to-1 water and bleach. So if you use a cup of water, it's a cup of bleach.
Mhm.
Do this outside or in a well ventilated area, because bleach is bleach and you don't want it to splash on you. But tie dyeing is fun. I like doing that. Of course, it's the anything crafty. I'm your girl.
Mhm. Yep.
You can also make your own bubbles and have a bubble party.
Mhm.
Now, I like doing this as well, but I didn't have all the ingredients or the information that I found. Um, if you use the link provided on the penny hoarder for bubble making, let me tell you that the list of ingredients that that person gives you is different from the list of ingredients that she describes in the description of how to make said bubbles. That pissed me off, so I went somewhere else. The website that I used was ontariosciencecentre.ca, right?
Mhm.
And I got some amazing information. Okay. The bubble recipe is 3 to 4 cups of water, 1 cup of dish soap, 1/3 cup of glycerin, which
Mhm.
not everybody has in their kitchen, and
Yeah.
then bubble wands and bowls and stuff like that, trays to put the bubbles in so that you can dip
Mhm.
and whatever.
I've
And
I've seen corn syrup used as a
yes,
substitute instead of
I did not
glycerin.
know that. This
Hmm.
Ontario Science Center has recipes that if you have glycerin, they've got a recipe. If you don't have glycerin, they have a recipe for using honey,
Hmm.
and they have a recipe for using corn syrup.
Hmm.
And the whole point in those three things is for the surface tension of the bubble
Mm-hmm.
They last longer.
because yes, the once the bubble is made, it won't evaporate as fast, which means that it will last longer, and your bubble will you're able to make it bigger.
You can play with them more.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. And you can take a like a not this one of course because this is one in bougie water bottles, but like one of those Walmart water bottle plastic things that you might let your dog chew on. Cut the bottom off of it, leave the drinking spout, but cut the bottom off of it. Put a sock on it, dip that into the bubble mix, and then blow, and it
Yeah.
makes like a bubble snake.
Yeah.
No, I never did that. Like I never let my kids use a sock. But yeah, we made bubbles. I would just use like Dawn dish liquid. They recommend Dawn dish liquid or Joy.
Dawn is
If
the
like
best, man.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
I when I was doing it, it was just Dawn and water.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing, Shalom was talking about get out and learn about your state. You can tour your own town.
Yeah.
I am sure that there are things that you don't know about the town that you live in.
I've wanted to do this up here.
There is a welcome center here
Yeah, I
in our
know.
town. They also have bicycles that you can rent.
Hmm. I've seen them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've,
which is
I've thought of that. I thought, it'd be cool for me and Tim and the girls to go do a city guided tour of Beckley and just
yeah.
learn because we don't, I mean, I know I was born here, but I don't know that much about it.
I mean, some
Mm-hmm.
of the buildings downtown and some of the houses were built like in the 1800s. These some really historic places here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
hey, if you already think you know everything about your town, how about touring the next town over,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Why not, right?
hmm.
Yeah. Why not?
Now, this is one that I'm getting ready to do part of, but is declutter and have a yard sale. So you're not actually spending any money. You might potentially make some money by doing this one.
Yeah.
But I'm getting ready to declutter. I'm getting ready to get in my basement and get rid of a lot of the stuff that's down there. My husband wants me to get rid of all my jars, but that's not happening. He doesn't know that, but that's not happening.
Why would you get rid of your jars?
He says I have too many. I mean, I've got like canning jars. We bought canning jars, the lids and
Right?
everything. But I've got pickle jars, I've got relish jars, I've got jelly
I
jars.
do too. I do too. I collect them. My husband
Yes.
says I need to get rid of them too. I haven't.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Can
Listen,
I, can I have a confession.
uh-oh.
I threw away a maple syrup jar this morning.
Oh.
Oh,
I
I
was
kept
going to
one.
keep it.
I just washed one.
It was pretty. I was going to keep it, but then I was like, you know what, Shalon, you're not doing something right this moment to where you have a reason to keep it. So by the time you have that reason, you'll probably be through one of your other maple syrup jars. So you're good. That's why I threw it away.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. You have less clutter like that.
You
Yeah.
should have brought it to me.
I can dig it out of the trash if you want.
No, gosh, Arnie will kill me. If you live in an apartment or in a place where you can't have a yard sale, post stuff on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
other sites. I mean, eBay, things like
Look
that.
at, look at your local community centers because they will also host neighborhood yard sales, garage sales.
Yep.
And when we lived in Florida, the HOA that we lived in at one point would have 1 or 2 weekends a year that they would allow us to yard sale. So that's something else to look at too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing that I saw that I thought was really cute, especially if you have toddlers, this would work. You have to set some ground rules, but it's called Yes Day. Okay.
My children want me to do this, and I'm like, no.
Set some ground rules. Like if you ask for an extra hour of screen time, you can only get one yes for that. Or if you've already had something with sugar in it, you only get one yes for that. But you say yes to every request for a certain period of time. Like from the time you get up until the sun sets, whatever you ask is yes. Can we have ice cream for breakfast? Yes. Can we go for a walk? Yes. Will you play a game with me? Yes.
I think that this is definitely something better to do when they're younger before they realize all the other stuff out there to do that's more expensive. Because when
Yeah.
they're my kids' age, it ain't
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Right? And then the last thing I have is again for a rainy day. Um, Go to your local library.
Mm.
They have story times. If you look at their schedule, they have stuff scheduled probably almost every day of the week, maybe not Sunday,
Mhm.
but yeah, visit your local library. And I think Dee Dee's got some library stuff for us.
I do, because my thing that I did, I'm like, you know what? All you really have to do, and of course it depends on how big of a town you live in and how big your public library is, on how much they offer and what they have. But if your town is not quite big enough, there's probably a town close to you that is, to visit the website for that library and find summer activities.
Hmm.
And they, depending on the size of your library, they can do, there's all kinds of different things that can happen through the library, most of which are free. Some of which will may require that you have your own quote unquote equipment, but sometimes they will have equipment that they lend out. They will have lending programs. Not all libraries have that, so you will of course have to go to their websites, call them up, go visit them to see what programs they have and what equipment, if any, that you will need to bring on your own.
Hmm.
But there's a whole slew of different things you can do, and some things I picked out would be things that I would like to do. Is book readings slash signings by an author, of the actual author of the book. Okay, and sometimes the authors will even like take an interview session, to where you can ask them questions and they will answer your questions.
That would be
You could
cool.
do that. Would be cool. It'd be awesome. Um, and I'll tell you, it's a lot different reading an author's piece of work and hearing the author read it.
Mm.
So
Yeah, no, just
yeah.
as a side note, my oldest daughter has written stuff and she's actually been published
Hmm.
in a few books. And these are short stories that she did. In her town in
Hmm.
Kentucky, they did an author, like where the author would read their part of their work, and
Right.
she got to participate in that.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Nice. And it's totally different. I know when I graduated college, um, not when I graduated, but we had Maya Angelou to come and talk to us, and she
See,
read some of her works. And let me tell you, it is totally different hearing someone read their works to you and you reading it yourself,
right. Because
especially if you're there in person.
how they read it to you is how they were hearing it in their head as they
Yes.
were writing it.
Yes. Yes. So it's totally different, and it's if you're there in person, it's even far different than seeing them on a television program and doing it.
Mm.
Okay, so that's a very good thing to do. Stargazing programs with a professional astronomer,
Hey,
or
talk back to me.
an experienced amateur astronomer. Okay, you may need equipment for this. You may not. They may have lending programs for it. Okay, and they may also have where they can teach celestial navigation, also known as astronavigation, which is learning how to navigate by the stars.
That would be cool.
Okay, so they may have something like that. Walk and talk book clubs, where you
I've
can
never heard of
you
this.
you read a book, whatever book you're reading, for whatever time you're reading it, you read it and you go and you do walking and you talk about the book. It's a book club, but you're not going into a room and sitting down. You're walking as you're talking about your book.
Karen, we should
Now,
start one.
yes, we
Yep.
should.
Yep.
That would
So
be
so
awesome.
you're getting out into nature and well, I guess it could be if you have a gym that has a track, it could be like that. But you're active and you're also stimulating your mind. And stimulating your mind and being active at the same time helps both. It helps your mind and it helps your activity.
Go to the gym if it's raining.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fitness classes. Some libraries will offer fitness classes. What ones they may offer, you'll have to check with them. And some libraries may offer what they call nature-based classes to teach you how to forage, teach you survival skills, and even homesteading classes.
Yes, I remember in Florida, they were big on for arborists to come in and help you
Mm-hmm.
learn like what plants are good to go in your yard and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yep.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, yeah, like gardening stuff, they probably have depend, like I said, depends on your library. Even your smaller libraries will probably have some things like Karen mentioned story time. Your
Hmm.
really small libraries will most likely have a story time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, my oldest daughter that lives in Kentucky, her
Mm-hmm.
ex-husband is the informational director, meaning that he handles like all of the computer classes and stuff like that. They do things like they have a comic con
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
that they host, and you were talking about fitness classes. They offer yoga classes as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, there's a number of different things like that. And some libraries may also have biking and or hiking and or swimming. You would have to get in touch with the local library to see what they have, if they have them.
Man, that's
Um,
a bougie library. It's got a swimming pool.
well, yeah. Well, it may not be so much they have a swimming pool, but they may reserve a time at a pool somewhere for like an hour
Yeah,
just
Right.
for their activity.
Yeah. My
And it's,
immediate thought was they're affiliated with the YMCA.
with the
and they
Y.
might
Yeah,
be, or it could be if you're in a place that has a natural swimming place like a lake, you may go to the
oh,
lake or to the beach or something like that,
yeah,
depending on where you're located, right?
that would be cool.
Yes, absolutely. Now, like I was saying, not all libraries are going to have equipment available, so you will need to check with them to see what they offer and if you need to bring anything or not. Now, if you're going to do like the biking thing with the library and you have a bike, use your own bike, okay? Because they will have limited spaces for the activities based on the equipment they have available if they have equipment. So you
Right,
bringing your own equipment can open up a spot for someone else.
right. Plus, if there's
So
a fee,
that
then
goes,
yours is free.
yes, but sometimes it's just lending. Sometimes they don't charge you anything. It's just free. But if you've got your own equipment, bring it. I mean, you're already familiar with your bike, so go ahead and bring it and use it. But like the foraging classes, you got to have tools for that. You got to have ways to get the bark off of the tree or to get the mushroom off the ground or whatever, and you got to have a bag to carry it in.
Hmm.
Bring your own stuff if you have it. It's just common sense, I think. Um, Now that's the library stuff that I looked up, and I'm sure there are numerous other things that your local public library may offer. And if that's the case, then that's great. You can find something that you like and do it, and possibly not pay for anything except for the fuel to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, and some other just fun things that you can do during the summer or at any time of year, probably as long as it's not freezing cold, is lawn games.
Yeah.
And lawn games may cost some money if you don't already have the equipment, like to play croquet. You need a croquet set. That's going to be a moderate cost if you don't have it already, or to do like badminton or something like that.
Yard
Uh,
darts.
yeah,
Cornhole.
lawn darts or something like that. Frisbee, you can play frisbee, kickball, and something that I
Cornhole.
taught,
Cornhole.
cornhole. Yes. So now these are things where you're going to need equipment for, so you may have to pay for it or borrow it from someone, or if a neighbor has it, maybe arrange a time when you and the neighbor and your kids could get together and all do it together, or a family member.
Hmm.
You could do that, okay? And something I saw on one of the lists I found was water balloons.
Ah,
Now, here's something that I thought of this in my own head. It may be out there already, but I didn't search this. It just came to me because I thought about water balloons, and then I thought about war ball that Karen and I used to play at intramurals. But what it is you have one team and another team, and if you hit someone on the other team with your ball, that person's out. If
yeah.
they catch your ball, you're out. And I thought about why not do this with water balloons?
Would be cool.
Yeah.
You could definitely see who had been hit the first time you played.
Yes. Yes. And if you don't want to sit anybody out, you can make it like a point system to where you could have different colored balloons, and a yellow balloon is worth 5 points, a red balloon is worth 10 points, or and whatever. And then if you hit someone on the other team with your balloon and it's a yellow balloon, you get 5 points.
Cool.
And if they catch your balloon and it doesn't bust, they get 5 points. So there are ways you could do that to have fun with it. See, I
Yeah.
think I want to play that game. So yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
And
the
there's all.
war ball that you're describing,
Mhm.
my kids when they were in school, that's
Yeah.
just their regular, that's what they call dodgeball now.
That's dodgeball. I hated
Yeah.
Oh.
dodgeball.
Oh,
Yeah, now
okay.
when me and Dee Dee were kids, dodgeball was one person on this side, one person on this side, and a monkey in the middle.
Mhm.
Now, that's monkey in the middle.
Yeah.
And you can also do like a movie night or a game night. You could do that with grown-ups or with kids or both kids and grown-ups.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a picnic.
Yeah. Hey,
So.
listen, if it's going to be a bad weekend, even in the winter time, you could do
Mhm.
like a movie marathon weekend
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
watch like all of the Harry Potters, all of the Star Trek movies, all the Star Wars movies.
Mhm.
Do something
Mhm.
like that.
Didi,
Yeah,
you
you could
mentioning
even.
the picnic reminded me of when we went to Spanish Point and we found the only hill to sit on.
Yes, our mother found the only hill in Southwest Florida, and we had a picnic on it. We were sitting like this.
Sideways.
That's
That
amazing.
was funny. That was funny. Yeah. So that's all I got. So.
One of the things that I found as well is on a site called Fave Crafts, Fave,
Mhm.
favecrafts.com, but they have 1,000 plus crafts using recyclable products like milk cartons
Okay.
and egg
Right.
cartons and cardboard and paper and all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I'll put that in the show notes because some of those I'm
Okay.
probably going to maybe try to do this week because I've got two grandkids coming. My oldest is coming in from Kentucky. She left the house at
Mhm.
11:30 this morning. So that'll be put her here like around 3:30 or so.
Okay. I got
But
two things to add. Sorry.
that's okay. Go.
With your local library, bird watching.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. And number two on
Uh,
that, and so
I
that's what
love
I'm
it.
telling. So, but yeah, the two things, bird watching and volunteer.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if
mhm.
you have a skill or knowledge or something that you're willing to share to people without getting paid for it, you can volunteer because these programs and classes you are taking from the library that you're not paying for, volunteers are there to teach you these things.
Hmm.
So volunteer.
I wonder if I could go volunteer at hours and teach people to crochet.
You
Of
probably
course we
could.
could.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my
I may
gosh.
call and ask.
I bet you there would be a lot of people interested in that.
You think?
Well,
Probably more
sure.
than you're thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I imagine it would encompass all ages.
Hmm.
I'm thinking two people will show up.
Well, you know what? Even if it's just two people, it's two people you're helping.
It's two people. That probably Shalana and her oldest,
Oh, shut up. We already know how to crochet. We wouldn't be there. No, I'm kidding.
right? Just come and crochet. What do they call that? Hang on. Stitch and bitch is what those sessions are called. When people get together and they crochet or knit, it's called stitch and bitch.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's crochet club instead of book club.
Yeah.
You should call it Karen's Crochet and spell the crochet with a K.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that'll work. Maybe I'll just make it a blog instead. Then I can just stay home.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Excuse
can't
me.
wait to get out.
Yeah, that's right. The whole point is to get out.
Hmm.
Which, by the way, when we get finished, I am going to go out and do something that you can do in the summer. It's very simple to do and easy to do with children. Plant something.
Gardening. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Um, and don't think you have to go buy seeds. I mean, I've got a whole bucket full of tomatoes out here that I started because I had this little container of cherry tomatoes and I had eaten about half of them, and the rest of them were starting to get all wrinkly and shriveled.
Hmm.
And I was looking at them and I thought, man, I could put this in the trash and it can go to the landfill and it'll take these tomatoes 600 years to find the surface. Or I can squeeze them open into some dirt in my backyard and see if they'll grow.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll
I
grow. I mean,
probably got 60
hmm
tomato plants in this bucket.
yeah, they grow because when my tomatoes get like that, I feed them to my chickens, and somehow or another they grow their own tomato plants.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
because
fertilizer there, so yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I love it. I love it.
you can also do that with like bell peppers and
Hmm.
like hot peppers and things like that. Anything that's got a seed in it, grow it. Now everything may not grow. It depends. It depends because if your fruit or vegetable is a hybrid of some kind, it may not grow at all.
Yeah,
Or
Yeah.
if it grows, you may not grow what you got the seed from.
right. One that will grow, potatoes.
Yes.
Mm.
Just get you a bag of russet potatoes, and if you get one that's got eyeballs on it,
Mm-hmm.
cut off the eyeball and stick it in the ground. It'll grow.
It'll grow. Mm-hmm.
I'm experimenting. I bought a sweet potato and I cut up a sweet potato into 8 pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got that in the ground. Whether it grows or
Mm-hmm.
not, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't grow, then it's compost.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Still good for my dirt.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, how about next week we talk about decluttering and organization? Shalon's like, no, don't point that finger at me.
Hey, I think I'm actually doing pretty good.
I think you are too. It's looking good. All right, guys.
Okay.
Mwah. I love you all.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm coming. Get down off my arm. That hurts. Your claws are sharp.